Okay, I'm here with Robbie Haywood from our head coach for teamTBB Mexico, Cozumel teamTBB Mexico. Robbie, how are you doing?
I'm very well, Alex. Thank you very much, and welcome to Cozumel. I know you've been here a few times before, and enjoy it here.
Yes, that's right. That's right. When did you move here permanently, Robbie?
I moved here permanently at the start of February, so we're getting almost to the end of the first 2 months.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a fabulous location.
Correct.
Not just as a fabulous place to live, but if you want to come and train, this is just bee's knees.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take the clock back a little bit because Robbie, we have actually you have been, I think, even like in the beginning years of teamTBB, we always found you on the forum. How did you get in contact with Brett? And how did this all start from your perspective?
Yeah, I've known about Brett for many years. I've been in the sport since '97. Age group and not professional, but I'm from Brisbane,
Yep.
and Brett, was living down the Gold Coast
Yep.
many years ago now. So I was always aware of Brett and his coaching and the athletes he was training.
Yeah.
And of course, you hear the stories about the killer
Yeah.
workouts.
Yeah.
But around about 2008, not long after Chrissy won her first Kona, I realised that teamTBB had a forum, and I reached out to Brett at that point, so it's 5 years ago now, and we started talking. And that relationship has grown, and basically I've looked at what he's done. I've taken his core principles, his methodology, his training ideas. I've applied those to myself and other people who I've coached.
Yep.
Over those 5 years, and we got to a point that I was mixing with the athletes. I was living in the States, so the guys racing in the States I spent a lot of time with at races. Got to know team members, professional team members, and then an opportunity came up to go to camp in Mooloolaba when I returned to Australia. Spent a bit of time with Brett, spend weekends up there at team camp, and very quickly it was established that would I like to come on board in a part-time capacity coaching online, which I did. So I joined the online coaching, and have been with that now for I guess that's a little bit over a year.
Yep.
And
That's going very well.
yeah, that's going great. So that's where the real relationship cemented itself. And then not too long after I was working with with Brett and the online guys, we went to talking about would you be interested in more full-time, and that was something I hadn't considered, but I very quickly weighed up the opportunity and said yes.
Yes.
And then we started talking about camps and where would be a good fit.
That's cool. So that's kind of like where this all came about. And so you live here together with your wife Susie, and she enjoying herself. Obviously, she's training as a strong age grouper, and she must be kind of like in training heaven here.
Yes, she's loving it. She's training hard. She's had good results as an age grouper. She decided not to turn pro when she's had opportunity to do so. But yeah, she goes well, and she's loving the training here. She loves the safe roads to ride on. Loves being able to ride next to the ocean. Loves to be able to swim in the ocean. That's all great.
Yeah, wonderful. So Robbie, let's talk a little bit about your role and kind of like the vision as a team that we all have and are developing and implementing. So we have the 3 levels: the youth development program, the elite development program, and then the pro squad. Talk me through a little bit these 3 levels, and then out of these 3 levels, what you're doing.
Okay. Level 1, is the starter program where we get people in. It's come along, have fun, learn some discipline, get some exercise, learn some core values, punctuality, say no to obesity, say no to drugs. And most of these kids are 10, 11, 12. They tend to go to school first thing in the morning, they finish at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they have all afternoon. And if there's not something there for them, they find ways to amuse themselves. So we get them off the streets, we get them at the track, we get them running, enjoy sport, enjoy exercise.
Yes.
And then once they get to a certain level, we progress them to stage 2, where we now start to take things a little bit more seriously and look more at the triathlon. We're looking at more at swimmability and swim coaching. Part of the program will be to have bicycles available for certain kids in that level 2, and then the ones who show more ability get to, in time, advance to the elite development squad. And I have more hands-on with those guys than the first 2 stages. We have some excellent local coaches here who do the majority of stage 1 and 2. And the elite development, I see them every day, often twice a day. And they're training to try and be the best they can be at their age. They're 16, 17. They want to try and advance. They know there's a possibility that if they cut the mustard and show that they have what it takes, that they can then get onto the full-fledged Cozumel teamTBB team.
Yeah, the pro squad.
Pro squad. We have 2 at the moment who, they're close, they're not there yet, but they have potential to get there. We've got another 3 who are a couple of years behind, but again, you know, hard work. This sport rewards hard work. It's not a pure sport like track running, marathon running, where you need to have a certain amount of natural ability. Triathlon you can turn through hard work and discipline and attitude. You know, someone who doesn't have the greatest talent, you can outwork the other guys. So that's what we're looking at with those, and hopefully, you know, 12 months, one of those will be able to progress up to the full teamTBB pro team here.
Yeah, correct. I think there's been a similar development in Alaska teamTBB Philippines, where in year 1 we had a scholarship program, or the elite youth development as we call it here, with 6 scholars, so 6 young athletes. And now in 2013, the second year of the program, actually 2 athletes have been promoted based on good performance and good attitude to as a full-fledged pro athlete. So I think we've seen that working in other countries, and it would be great, Robbie, to actually see how big is your elite squad at the moment? Your elite
Presently, there's only 5.
5 guys. 5.
So there's lots of room for expansion.
Yeah.
And I'd say 2 of the 5 are of the ability where they're getting close. They're not there yet. We still need to mould their attitudes, their consistency. They have the physical ability with more focused training. But yeah, we need to work on those other skills.
Correct. So Robbie, in a way, it's exciting, right? Because you're kind of like the cheese on the sandwich. There is the pros above you, so you have the carrot, so to say, to stimulate your 5 guys to say, listen, if you do well and if you show the work and the effort and the race results, and also the attitude out of the races, off the court, then they can progress. And then we have Primo, the local coach, who actually has done an excellent job way before teamTBB actually came to the island. Yeah, who has a group of 40-50 kids. How do you work with Primo, and how do you see that working? Because in a way, that youth development program is your fishing pond.
Absolutely, absolutely. Primo has established, as you just pointed out, 40 or 50 kids that come along every afternoon after school.
Yep.
He trains them, but he makes it fun. And he instills discipline. He doesn't have to spend half the afternoon chasing them around and getting them to do things. It's, okay, here we go. And he has their attention. So he's set them on the right path. What we need to do then is use our training knowledge to then, as they progress, integrate the swim, the bike and the run, the way we do with teamTBB and all our athletes, with what calls the special sauce. So we don't just run, we don't just ride, we don't just swim, we do things in a certain manner to actually aid progression. So what I need to do is work with Primo, building on what he's already started, to then bring our more specialised triathlon knowledge into the picture and just mould some of the run sessions that we're doing, make sure that they integrate properly with the swim and the bike that we're doing. But yeah, Primo has a fantastic group there. If you're here, you need to go and look at the track in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, it's 50 kids that he's getting them drilled. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I went, and well, we will look at some shots from it because it's really fantastic. I'm really excited, Robbie, because at teamTBB our vision has always been and will always be to provide hope and opportunity through sports. And I think what you're doing is actually where the rubber hits the road. It's not just about the pros.
No.
And so where do you think, how could this program, from your point of view, how could this program evolve over the next 1 or 2 years? How do you see this go?
Even if we don't create any pros out of this project, it doesn't matter. What's more important is that we're getting kids off the street, we're keeping them out of trouble, we're teaching them about healthy living, exercise, diet, we're giving them goals, purpose through sport, and we're instilling other things, discipline, punctuality, commitment. And those are all life lessons that they can take with them, regardless of whether they make a pro team in triathlon. It's totally irrelevant. Yeah. So that's the key thing with the project. The side issue is that if we can create some local pros as well, that's fantastic. Our Brazilian Brett's Brazilian project and your Brett Brazilian project, we had Ronaldo Colucci.
Yep.
And if we can create a similar Mexican Cozumel athlete,
yep,
then that's a beautiful thing as well. Yeah. But it's not the key goal, but it is something we would like to see, and we're working very hard towards that happening. And eventually our teamTBB Mexico pro team may be predominantly local athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Hey, Robbie, just a quick one. You have recovered personally from a horrific bike accident. How long ago is it now?
It's just over 7 months ago now.
Quite an experience.
Quite an experience. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I'm not fully recovered yet. What happened? I was in a race and I was hit by a car they were doing 55 mile an hour, I believe, 80 k's an hour. My bike was destroyed, my helmet was destroyed. I broke my neck. I broke the C1, C6, C1 being the top vertebrae in your neck, which normally is fatal. 5 ribs, scapula, and I had a very, very badly broken arm, which required a 5-hour surgery to put the bone back together, so plates and 14 screws. Recovery's been very, very, very good. I have almost no issues other than with the shoulder, in that I only have half the normal range of motion at the time presently. So it's something I'm still working on. I'm doing all the physio and the exercises and things. I can't, it's very limiting. I'm not even contemplating racing at the moment. My focus is on this project that we have here. Hopefully, in a couple of years, I will have restored mobility in the shoulder, and I will be able to swim and we'll be able to train. But yeah, it was a tough few months, and
it was very tough for everybody. I'm sure also very tough for Susie, but we all feel like we're blessed that A, you survived, and B, we see your recovery and we see you in the pool, so that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm like a bit of a bird with a broken wing.
Yes.
And of course, thank you for everyone who has helped me personally and from afar, and all their prayers and thoughts were very, very beneficial.
Fantastic. So Robbie, that's other than your being the head coach for the Cozumel teamTBB Mexico, elite development program. You're also the assistant coach for the pro squad. Is that how does that go, and how do you experience that? Because that's quite an interesting step up for you, for yourself.
Oh, I don't see those guys as any different from anybody else. What separates those from the age group is basically ability. They just go faster. In many ways, they're more. I have to be a little bit diplomatic and choose my words carefully. Highly strung. Yes. The analogy of a racehorse that's a little bit flighty and a little bit needs careful handling applies. It's something I really enjoy. The opportunity to work side by side with Brett, not only for my education and my growth as a coach, but I do enjoy spending time with Brett. So that's something I'm really reveling in. I don't get to all of the sessions with the other projects I have, but I try and get to most. And if Brett sometimes he has to travel and he goes to races and etc. He's not here, then I will look after them for him while he's gone. So I guess I feel very privileged that he allows me to do that and places his confidence in me. And of course, that's reflecting in my own coaching, not just here, but also all the online athletes I coach, and they're getting that trickle down knowledge from Brett to myself to their own programs.
That's great.
It's a win-win for all of us.
How does a week look like with the elite youth development in terms of training sessions? How does that look like?
Yeah, generally they swim 4 days a week. A mixture, some of it's intense heart rate sets, some is more longer pool work. They do 3-4 bikes a week. They run 5 days a week. They do a lot of track running, not traditional trackers in 2400s. They have a mix. They do some longer, more tempo runs as well. So we take the core, I say TBB principles or Brett's training philosophy, and we apply that to them, and we get that mix right. And of course we have to be careful too. They have schoolwork. Triathlon is a sport where only a very select handful can actually make a decent living at that. So while we want them to be committed and we want them to train and we want to get the best out of them, we still have to recognise that they have other things such as their schoolwork that's also a priority, and that's yes. important to me. That we got to have that right as well. I won't mention his name, but a famous triathlete said once that his parents said to him, "If you get A's in schoolwork, you can do whatever you want." And I like that approach. It's you can't throw one out, and
it's the balance.
It's a balance in life.
Yes.
And triathlon's a lifestyle sport, and whether you want to come number one or you just enjoy the healthy benefits of exercise and the participation in races, doesn't matter. The actual fitting in a lifestyle and making a lifestyle is key. And part of that is making sure that you recognise the other things that are also important in your life, whether that be schoolwork, whether that be family, friends, responsibilities. Yeah. You can't just ditch them on one side because you think you may want to be the next superstar.
Yeah. Well, Robbie, appreciate your time. I think it's for me personally, and I know for Brett as well, it's extremely exciting to have you here. You so much represent the vision that we have for the team in providing hope and opportunity, and I really look forward to see the kids that come out of the program, and as you say, whether there is a next generation of champions in your little pool or not, that's not exactly the goal, but it's a much bigger purpose. At the same time, if we do get a little bit more Mexican representation on the main squad of teamTBB Mexico, that will be fantastic.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic, and the beauty of having both squads here presently is that we can intermix them a little bit we can do some sessions with the elite development guys in with the pros, and we've done that from time to time, and it gives them a little taste of what's possible. It reminds them, you know, that they're you know, big fish in a small pond.
That's right.
And then we put them in with the pros, and okay, guys, you know, you see, and you can see how the pros go about their business and the attitude that they bring and the discipline, and that helps trickle down and sets an example for those elite developments as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the way down.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think we're gonna follow you a lot more in this program. We're gonna follow more. We already have some sessions with Primo and with all the 40, 50 kids, part of the Tres Hermanos Foundation, the Youth Development Program. So, Robbie, look forward to catch up with you soon.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Alex.
Thanks for your time.
Speak soon.
All right.